They did find blood in the van. How do you explain that?
Timothy had severe bloody noses, and one day he had a bloody nose and all over his clothes, filled up 2 rags and went down the seats. They could not tell the age of the blood. They just found that it was blood in the car.
Yeah. And then they tested some blood and they found it was hers on the knife.
On the knife, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's none of his blood was on
None of his blood
the
was on
knife at
anything.
all. So there's no evidence that she's harmed him.
Yeah, there's
in
none
any
at
way.
all.
One of the things we often look at to determine whether someone's going to kill themselves or not is if there is any forward thinking or action at all. And she bought him clothes, toys, backpack, toiletries that you're going to need if you're going to be here for a while, if you're going to be with someone. And motherly instinct is that you would not want to drop a child with nothing that he calls his own. And that to me is a very strong sign. And as morbid as this sounds, if a mother was going to kill herself and her child,
Yeah, she would have
they
killed
would
him
do
first.
it together.
Yes.
But to do that with him somewhere and then leave him, abandon him somewhere, and go off on her own is psychologically unsupported. That doesn't make sense. Well, she wrote a suicide note that was addressed to your mother. Mom, I know you're hurt and frustrated, and I wish I had something better to say than I love you, but I don't. I have never really felt like I belong here, but somehow I've always felt apart from everything. Tim helped with that for a while, and maybe if Jim and I had been better, I would have been okay, but everything just fell apart, and this time, there were just too many pieces for me to pick up again. I can't take the chance of Jim hurting Tim because of my choices, so I've taken him somewhere safe. He will be well cared for and says that he loves you. Please know that there is nothing you could have said or done that would have changed my mind. I'm sorry for the hurt and difficulties I know you are going to face. I just hope you will be able to forgive me one day. It was just time for me to say goodbye.
Amy had a pretty common coping method, and when she felt that things were too much for her and she didn't want to take responsibility for her life, she had to compartmentalize that somewhere. So it's easy for her to say that I don't want this because he wouldn't be safe, because I think that she wanted Jim to feel bad and she wanted to hurt him. I don't think she even thought it was true. I think she just really wanted to have a penchant for the dramatic. I mean, she killed herself on Friday the 13th, and it was right around midnight.
She says, I can't take the chance, so I've taken him somewhere safe. As irrational as it is, it sounds like a legitimate thought process to me.
Yeah.
Whereas if she had taken his life, I would expect there to be finality in here. There's not. She's not talking about him in the past tense.
Definitely true.
Which is very important to see. She goes on to say, there's nothing you could have done to change my mind, and I'm sorry for the hurt. I hope you'll forgive me. It doesn't read with that darkness to it, and I don't know if she actually expected to die when she wrote this or expected to be found or what. There are statistics that suggest half of all suicidal deaths are accidental.
She took an overdose of antihistamines. She laid in a warm tub and cut her wrist. It wasn't happening fast enough, so she got up out of the bath to get the knife again and cut her throat.
Well, the story gets more and more bizarre because after 8 years of searching for little Timothy, a boy shows up and tells police that he's your missing son.
Yes.
And when you saw this photo, did you think it looked like Timothy?